Hi everyone, my name is Sheila Rodriguez and I'm not quite the pro that Janet George is, but I thought I would give you a little instruction on how I'm managing to achieve what I have called my faux ruler work. You can see here, like within my stars, I'm on the wrong ones, for like my hunter star, that I'm able to achieve the 1/4 inch from the seams without actually putting on my ruler base and using my rulers, which I don't mind using my rulers, but this is just a very simple method without having the space that you lose from your ruler base and, you know, manipulating rulers. Mine never turn out straight anyway. So anyway, I'm going to roll the quilt forward and I'll be back to show you how I do that. Okay, just to give you a little bit of background on my experience with the QCT software, I started with the beginnings back in 2018, and then just recently, actually, I got my software on Saturday, upgraded to the Pro version. And then I decided to go ahead and go whole hog and went ahead and went with the gold card. So anyway, that's just kind of a little bit of my background. So now, I'm going to move my computer here. Hopefully my screen will show up. I'll look at this and maybe do some editing. But first, to do the virtual ruler, I'm going to do select and sew. And I'm actually, because I have these triangle blocks and I'm doing a certain pattern with them that's going to match my border, I just go ahead and use that triangle block and open it. Okay, and I'm not going to actually place this block. Instead, right here where it says toolbox, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say marking tool, because that's where I want to go first. So I'm actually doing the ruler work on the stars themselves, not the arrow parts. So what I do is I'll go in and I'll place my first mark. So I'll just add. And that's going to give me my first mark. And then I'll go, and I'm doing them within a 1/4 inch of the edge of the block. That's my second mark. This is my third mark. Here is number 4. And here is number 5. The 5th one is kind of on these the trickiest because I try to make sure I stay right at a 1/4 inch so that I can land in the same place every time. And so now I want to go to this other diamond within this star. So I'm going to go to add marking and I'm going to name it number 2. And so then I'll just go and I'll do the same process again. I'm going to add a mark. I'm going to come down. I'm going to add another mark. I'm going to come down. Another mark. Back up. Another mark, and then this will be the last of that diamond. So now I want to move over in the quilt and go to my next set of diamonds right here in the center. And I don't know how well you can see that, but you know, mostly seeing the computer screen I think is what's the most important. So I'm going to do another set of marks. So I'm going to do add marking. And I'm going to name this one number 3. Just click enter. Then I like to start in the center of my star, but it's not dead center. It's, you know, within the 1/4 inch of the diamond shape. So I'm going to add a mark there. I'm going to go over, add another mark, go down, add another mark, go across, add another mark. And this particular star, he's not perfect. He's a little off center here, but you know what? It doesn't make a bit of difference because each one of these are going to stitch out separately. So that completes that diamond, and I'm going to add another marking. And I'm going to, see, I can see what I had here was 3 was the last one. So I'm going to call this one number 4. And I'm going to go and start again, right here, a 1/4 inch in the center, add, go down, add, come down, add, back to this corner, add, and back, to where I started, add. And see, these points you can tell pretty much come together. If they don't and you're not happy with it, you can always remove the last mark. That's the blue minus sign. If you're unhappy with the whole piece, you can remove all. That's the red X. And so now, you know, the star on the bottom, it has 4 diamonds. So I'm going to add another marking. Add, number 5, enter, come across. We're going to add a point. Add second point. Number 3. Third point. And then back to where I started to connect the diamond. And see, these are all individual diamond shapes. So now I'm going to add number 6. Enter. Okay. You're going to add, 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 and then back to where I started, add, and it connects it in. And so I've got the center portion done. This is a really small, about a crib size quilt. It's not that big. So now I've got 2 more parts of the star I'm going to do. So I'm still going to add another marking. I'm going to add number 7. I'm going to go down here. Oh, you can't see much. Let me turn you. And maybe tilt you a little bit. So we're going to add, 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 and add. That gets me that diamond. Now I'm going to add 1 more diamond. It's going to be number 8. Enter. Go over here, start it, add, come down a little bit, click it, add, down to the point of the diamond, add, back up to the next corner, add, and then back to where I started at, add. So then that's going to give me 8 diamond shapes to quilt. Don't worry about in the middle here, this block. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna stitch that because we didn't print it. Now, if I wanted to, I probably could go in and do multiple placements, but I find it's easier to do the ruler type stuff first and then to go back and do the fills on my triangles after that. So I do the diamonds first and then the triangles, or whatever is, you know, the last thing up. So then, if you notice right here, it says pattern. And I don't know how well you can see, but we don't want to print a pattern. So we're going to unclick pattern, and we're going to click markings. And then we're going to say quilt. And it's going to say your pattern hasn't been placed. Do you wish to proceed? Yeah, I do. I don't want to stitch a pattern. I want to stitch my markings. So see, now this is what it's going to stitch. It's going to stitch each of my diamond shapes. And you could do this with Dresden plates. You could do this with log cabins. The thing is, it will stitch each one and it'll stop after every one and ask you to move forward with that. So I typically stop, pull my bobbin, and then, you know, restart. But I did learn that I didn't like the way it looks when I use the back and forth on it. So I have switched it to the micro stitch to do my takeoff. So I'm going to put it here in the general vicinity. I can tell it's going to start on this diamond. Let me pull you down. Sorry if I'm wobbling you. Like I said, I'm not a videographer, not yet. I'll get better. It's going to start with this diamond down here. So I'm going to put it kind of in that point just to save some time because we all know this machine moves slow. And I'm going to say pull bobbin. And then I just do a single stitch. And I like just to sweep under and pull it out. I don't move back and forth and all that. I am all about time, right? So then I'm going to let it go ahead and start stitching. And so I know it's hard to see on this black, but I have a nice 1/4 inch straighter than I can do it with a ruler because I wobble with a ruler. And I do have a ruler base, but you know, with this QCT5 Pro, that ruler base may have seen its better day. And so what I typically like to do, because I don't want a line and I don't want to go back and clean a bunch of jump stitches, is I go to the toolbox, I release my carriage, I move it away a little bit, come back. I use my toolbox again to do a single stitch. That's pulling my bobbin up. Then I can clip those threads. I'm not a thread barrier, sorry. I want to be one and done. One and done. So now I'm going to move to the next. And if I know it's probably going to start here towards the center because that's where I started. So I just moved it over to the next one. And it's already ready to go. So I'm going to pull my bobbin again. One stitch. I always forget that part, having to come back and clip that single stitch. There we go. And then, just so. You'll be able to see the stitching a little better on this one because it's a lighter colored block. And I am using black thread, so. So yeah, you kind of have to be with it and babysit a little bit and move it to the next one, to the next one. But I find that not to be any more time consuming than trying to manipulate my rulers and my ruler base. And plus my ruler base, I lose some quilting area. So since this is just kind of a simple pattern, again, I'm gonna release the carriage. Use single stitch to pull up that bobbin thread. I'm going to clip all of those threads. I'm going to take it over here because I know this is where it's going to probably be starting next because this is the next ones. I'm going to say move to next. And there it is, ready to pull my bobbin again. And I'll do the same process to all of these diamonds on this block. This is one block right across here. And then I'll come back and I will stitch. I'll put pattern placements in all of these triangles and get those done. And thank you for your time, and I hope this maybe has helped you understand a little bit how to use your markings in place of a ruler.